Hi everyone, Tea Drinker here, and today I'm reacting to Shogun Episode 4. Alright, ready to go. What is going to happen? Is that snow? It's a bit of ice. Ooh, there's a snow. Love the red leaves. Oh, okay, we haven't seen Omi in a while. Is this the will from Yabushige? We have a fair idea of what's going to happen between Toranaga and Blackthorn, but I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with Yabushige's storyline. I said so already in my reaction to episode 2, but I really love this theme tune. It's really, really great. And they seem to have different writers and directors each episode, which is really, really interesting to see. The Eightfold Fence. Okay, what's going to happen here? So we're back with Toranaga and the boys. What's happening here? Oh yes, the continuation of her. Right. But what Mariko says is law, so... And now it's up to you to live with honor. Oh, we're going to get more of the Regency scene. Okay, great. I mean, he was going to be dead anyway. There are people shouting? Whoa!
Whose army is that?
All the lads.
All loyal to Toranaga-sama.
Let's hope so.
God, the production is just absolutely fantastic for this show. Interesting. That's an interesting quote.
Anjin-sama, this is Omi-sama, the lord of this village.
Actually, we've met. Oyo shall. And fuck yourself. You sniveling little shitbag.
I mean... So interesting to see the role respect plays in this culture. I'm so interested to see what this training regiment is going to be for Blackthorn.
You've seen them. They safe.
Still loyal to his men. That was great, the way they had the men in the background looking at one another.
What now? Let go.
I am afraid you are forbidden from boarding without permission.
Convenient of Mariko to just show up. I mean, there's not much he can do.
Clarification.
So I take it, is his arc for this series going to be him leaving the old ways in the past and becoming Japanese samurai? Maybe not actually a samurai, but like some form of like warrior within their group.
Nagakato-sama says training will take at least 6 months.
6 months?
And Fuji-sama is a consort.
Well, I'm sure she's very nice, but I don't want a woman. I wish to pillow her, pillow on her, or near her, do any damn pillowing at all.
Him and the pillow talk.
I do refuse.
Oh.
I refuse all of this.
Blackthorn.
Under clear terms with
Please don't do this. Don't do this.
And I'm bloody prisoner all over again. Just with better living quarters.
He does have a good point, though. What's Omi thinking? But what can he do before Toranaga returns? Oh. It's so interesting because they had a similar conversation all the way back in episode 1 as well.
You should not walk on moss. It is very disrespectful.
Is moss seen as a living thing within their culture? I wonder if that's where it comes from.
Her husband had insulted Ishido-sama, and something had to be done in order to prevent bloodshed.
Shouldn't she be grieving then? Instead of following around marooned Englishmen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'd never know it to look at her.
The state of showing face back then.
Do you know of the Eightfold Fence?
Oh, our episode title.
Impenetrable wall, behind which we can retreat whenever we need.
Very apt for her situation and also the consort as well.
Misama insists it is forbidden to bring
Oh, Blackthorn.
Nonsense. For some reason, I just can't shake the memory of our first meeting.
Good idea. I'm glad that they gave her character autonomy here, rather than just having her like whimpering for the male character or something like that.
Tell this milk-dribbling fucksmear I'm ready to go.
Okay, there's some great insults in this show, I will say that. I was not expecting that.
It's very good. Very good.
Yeah, very good. That shot is amazing. Loving the wide shots in this show.
Sorry, you said taught?
Yes.
When
Yeah.
did this battle occur?
35, 40 years ago.
So you yourself did not fight in this battle? Or were you not even born when this battle was fought?
Oh, Blackthorn. Is he gonna come up with something on the spot?
Mariko-sama, just let me demonstrate.
Oh, this is very interesting. No, but the way he does it is going to be accurate.
Clear the hubs and fire!
That's brilliant. Love this music that's going on as well. I think that's a very interesting way to see him being assimilated into their culture by combining his culture with theirs. Oh, so she's having a sneak peek at what it's all about. Given that she's able to understand Portuguese, it would be interesting now for her to have a kind of a leg up information-wise. I'm very interested to see in this episode if we're going to actually see Blackthorn put everything he's learned to the test.
What orders?
Your crimes against the Portuguese. I've read them in your own words. Just obey the earthquake.
A baby what?
This is very interesting.
It is why our houses are built to go up as quickly as they come down. Because death is in our air.
Whoa.
In sea and earth.
What a quote. When the show has really good dialogue, it's fantastic. Oh god. Is it weird that the first thing I thought of was Twilight?
And then...
Oh, I take it Blackthorn is going to have to try to bring his tactics into play in this situation. Well, maybe not in this particular scene, but definitely by the end of the episode. Yeah, I mean, it's very much a door or wall here, buddy. He's making a good play. Love the sarcasm. Damn, he's coming up with the solutions left, right, and center this episode.
And so the region...
This may be not for you.
How do you mean? Let me try some.
Blackthorn's a good egg. I like him.
Should be the most fearsome lady in the Japans.
Fantastic. Oh, the sword. Oh, the swords. Wow. Wow, that's great.
Like you to carry her family swords.
And Blackthorn, being a good dude, will be respectful of this, won't he?
I can't accept this.
You must. That's so interesting. His arc coming as a result of his empathy. That's why he swaps the guns for the swords.
You are under no obligation to try this dish.
And of course, it's now going to be topped off with him getting used to their food as well. It's doing a great job of showing a white assimilation storyline without being condescending. Very interesting, Toranaga's son trying to present himself as being a leader. Or at the very least, having a sense of autonomy and independence that's actually beyond his age. Blackthorn is cute, I like him. Is his consort going to be there? Yeah, of course his consort is there. Oh, it's Mariko. I couldn't see in the dark.
I am happy to see you have changed your mind about bathing.
I'm sure she is too.
I also wanted you to know. You're wrong about my service in Ajiro.
Is she going to give us her backstory and exactly what happened to her father?
I have not told you my family name. But it is well known in Japan.
Whoa, what happened there?
I have been unable to seek resolution for what happened. But recently, Toranaga-sama offered me a way.
What sort of resolution?
Is she to be compliant to Toranaga to repent for what she did, perhaps?
I take you to see my queen.
Would she receive us?
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
That's a fantastic shot, by the
We
way.
tour the grounds all the ways life seems to. leave you wrecked. They'll just disappear.
Ah,
And then you are free.
yeah. Back to the eightfold that she referenced earlier. Oh, that's very, very good writing. Why do I fear dangers lurking? Is she... She's not getting into bed with him, is she? The story direction isn't quite my cup of tea, but, well, I suppose it is what it is. That's a fantastic shot of the three of them. We're not getting a huge amount of Toranaga this episode. I wonder in the following episode, is he going to have an episode that's mostly dedicated to him? Oh, great. Oh, okay, so it looks like Blackthorn is going to have to save the day on this one. Yeah, because you're completely out of your depth. What did you think was going to happen? Oh, wait, no. Did he spot something? Oh, he is actually going ahead with it. Okay, fair enough. Oh. He actually went through with it. Oh, no. Yeah, you can say that again. And now he's gonna go against Yabushige. Ruh-roh.
It is war.
Yep, you can say that again. Don't... Oh my god, you're joking me! How long? 55 minutes, my ass. There was no way. Ugh. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic show. I think this might actually be my favourite episode from the series thus far. It's a shame that we're only getting to 10 episodes, but be that as it may. Look, to be honest, I just want to get straight into talking about this thing. Thanks for watching the reaction, and now here is the review. So for this episode's review, I just want to talk about a couple things that stood out to me the most. I've just written them down as a list here, so I'm just going to go through them one by one. But by and large, the main thing for this episode for me was just seeing the progression of Blackthorn's character as well as Nagakado's character. I thought both of them were just done really, really excellently this time around. So with the cold opening of the episode, it was great to see the arrival of Toranaga just from Omi's perspective. Like him staring at the ship coming into the bay, it's more so him looking at the Erasmus and what that's going to mean for the entire plot. Just seeing something like that sets up the plot point for the entire rest of the episode very, very strongly, in my opinion. I wasn't expecting to see a continuation of Fuji's storyline. I thought that the death of both her husband as well as her infant child would be the extent to which we'd get, but like nonetheless, we did get that continuation there, which is very strong to see. Just the utter oppression of what Japanese society, what the culture within that Japanese society at that particular time just did to the nation. It truly shows how cruel the Japanese tradition is. And, you know, in a way, it's great seeing that the resolve that she has as a character unto herself, you know, her refusing to want to be a consort to a barbarian. Again, reinforcement of Blackthorn being seen as a barbarian is quite strong, but seeing her refuse to be his consort for a year and then finally acquiescing and saying that she'll do it for 6 months. Like I said before, I wasn't expecting to see more of Fuji as a character, so getting that moment, it really did stand out to me. The brief dialogue with Yabushige that he had with Toranaga there, it works as providing exposition for us as the audience for the risk that Toranaga has in him making his resignation to the Council of Regents. It is a stalemate, but it's one that is not going to last long. And again, he is very much putting his neck out there by doing something like that. So to see Yabushige mirror that sentiment for us works very, very well as audience members. It works well in a way that it gives us just a brief reminder as to the fallout from last episode's ending. And again, it does then set up the rest of the episode itself. And then Nagakado himself saying, "An ally with ambition is no ally." I love that line. I thought it was a great reinforcement of the paranoia that all of them are, kind of forced to live under. The scene where Toranaga inspects the army himself, when he raises and they all stop chanting Yabushige's name and they all listen to what he has to say. There's another great illustration of the degree of tradition that the nation had. and the level of discipline required just simply for their civilization to exist unto itself. Blackthorn unsuccessfully trying to board his ship and retrieve his men, that worked as a really great inciting incident for the episode. For his episode arc in particular, his episode arc being him accepting his role of Hatamoto in the society. In this vein, there's a great line of dialogue where he says, "I'm just a prisoner with better living quarters." It's very interesting to see a protagonist whom is forced to adapt. It's great to see him being a combination of voluntary change towards this role, as well as it being a forced acceptance put upon him. There's a really nice dichotomy in that sense. It was also great to see Omi continuing to prove himself as a warrior. To see him kind of working as a contrast to Yabushige, trying to navigate his life between both of these worlds. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the actual reaction itself, but it was great to also see Kiku in just very briefly when she's performing music as the men are talking. Her working as a side character reinforces the idea that the characters are constantly being watched, but nonetheless, just going back to Omi, we will see a little bit more of him later on throughout the episode, but even just what we've gotten so far at that particular point of the episode, it's great to see him continuing to prove himself as a warrior with potential. When Mariko says, "We grieve those we have lost by continuing their fight," between that and the talk of the Eightfold Fence, both of those seem to reinforce the dedication the Japanese have to their own customs. But kind of what was different this time around, particularly with Mariko talking about the Eightfold Fence, is it shows, particularly for us as audience members and then also to Blackthorn within the show itself, it outlines that the Japanese people are very aware as to the demerits of their own behavior. So having something like that, I believe, humanizes it a lot more, and it gives a little bit more context as to how the actual Japanese tradition is viewed by the people in and of themselves. And even how then that bleeds into the following scene in which Omi wants Blackthorn to hand over the guns, which he refuses to do. So again, further reinforcement of the strength of Japanese tradition and how much of an overarching presence it is to everything. And then Fuji pointing the gun at Omi herself. Like, we're really, really getting more of her character there, which I really appreciated. Generally speaking, Blackthorn combining his English customs with theirs in order to make them stronger than ever before, in that fantastic montage in which he's showing Yabushige how to operate the cannons. I thought it was incredibly enjoyable to watch. He comes across as so likable as a character. I mentioned in the previous episode's review that I know Blackthorn, both for a performance and just a character unto itself, he's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but for me, I find him very, very enjoyable to watch anytime he's on screen. Blackthorn saying, "We have our masters to serve," before he's saying that to Mariko in the sense that both of them have their own respective masters to serve, before being told by Mariko herself that death is in our air and in our earth and in our sea, following him feeling the baby earthquake. I think that larger than life sense of nature and environment, and, well, I suppose you could take that further and say life and death itself, the fact that that is so foreboding is one word, but again, just to use that term, overarching, because that's what it really is in that world. It comes as a great shock to Blackthorn, and again, it really does give us another illustration as to how the Japanese view the actual world around them, not just the interpersonal socio-political world. The actual geographical environment itself was very, very powerful. One thing I didn't quite understand, but I'm not going to question it too much because I'm assuming I'm going to see it as time goes on, is just a scene with Kiku and Omi. I'm not exactly sure what she's trying to play with, kind of gassing him up the way she is, if she's playing her own kind of long game in a way, or maybe she is just genuinely gassing him up because she sees him as being someone who is genuinely capable of great things, and maybe she's better to side with him now as much as she can. But again, with a character like Kiku, it's kind of it's kind of a situation where all bets are off. She could be planning something. We'll have no idea what that could be by episode 9 or 10. And again, maybe she is just there to serve the story. Maybe she is just more of an also-ran character at this stage. I don't know. But nonetheless, having little moments like that to keep the audience guessing, I think work very, very well. And it's just amazing how brutal this world is, and that Yabushige is so close to being sentenced to death when Jozen shows up, and he's able to just handle everything with the same level of stoicism and acceptance. I mean, you could call it mature, but I mean, it's more than mature in a way. It's not in touch with humanity. You're actively going against your self-preservation faculties in order to adhere yourself to Japanese tradition, which is really, really, it's very, very strong storytelling. And again, just in general, it's a strong theme. It's a strong premise to be able to deliver us to audience members at all. I definitely think that this show would work very well in tandem if there was maybe a particular class being taught about Japanese history. And I do understand, of course, there's a large fictional element to Shogun, but it's more about portraying what the actual world itself was like. So in that sense, I think this show would be really great to study. It would be a great companion piece to maybe some historical study one we're undertaking. And, you know, again, just for continuing on from the conversation that Yabushige was having with Jozen, it was great to see Omi really taking charge here for the benefit of Yabushige, and we'll see that in the coming scene with how he speaks to Nagakado. The scene where Blackthorn eats Nato after accepting the swords from Fuji, a really nice moment. Again, you're getting that further level of assimilation, how he's kind of step by step rising to the ranks of the role that Toranaga has given him, which I find very, very strong. And just right before we go into that lovely, lovely scene with Mariko and Blackthorn, we had the short moment between Omi and Nagakado where Omi is like really twisting him to his will there. I thought that was just absolutely excellent. And I said so during my reaction itself, but again, I just have to bring it up. I thought it was so well done. From doing the rewatch, I just absolutely adored that scene between Mariko and Blackthorn. Just a combination of cultures, like seeing the contrast and the comparison there between the two of them was very, very sweet, like genuinely sweet and heartfelt between the two of them. And for me personally, as I said in the previous episode's review, I don't personally like that type of story. I kind of feel sometimes it could be a bit shoehorned in when we have the only female protagonist ending up romantically involved with the male protagonist. Usually it's not for me, but it felt very earned in this sense. We got the seed planted in episode 3, and now that it's paying off here, where they eventually have sex by the end of the episode, it's done in a way where it doesn't feel ham-fisted or anything like that. It feels, even though it may not be to everyone's preference, and again, I will say it's not 100% to my preference, but it makes total sense for the story, for what it is they're trying to portray, and I have to give it an enormous amount of kudos for that, because it does come across as very respectful. And then the final scene where Nagakado orders the attack, it kind of speaks for itself. Like, my shocked reaction does definitely say a lot there. The degree of seriousness behind a scene like that is pretty self-evident. But I do got to mention that I love the music that plays just right in the closing moments of that scene, and then how it bleeds into the credits itself. So yeah, this is pretty much just my quick review for the episode. If you watched the first 2 reviews, you will note that it's quite a good bit quicker than what I usually do, but honestly, kind of from watching back of those videos and from this one where I actually spent a good bit of time just creating notes to begin with, to be able to talk as succinctly and comprehensively as I am, it's not necessarily a huge amount of difference in the amount of time it takes necessarily, even though I end up not speaking for as long. It is pretty much the same amount of detail that I would be giving anyway, and especially because I don't want to make things too repetitive. I don't want to be bringing up the same points over and over and over and over again, because for people who may end up watching all of these reviews, I'm very much aware that listener fatigue might just set in because of that. But look, I don't think it's that big of a deal with every single video I've made thus far, both from what I know of my own content and from others' content. It's only going to be like 4% of people who make it to the end of any of these videos anyway. And if you have made it this far, I'm very, very grateful for you to have done so and to have spent this amount of time. For my next review, I'm very tempted for episode 5, which I have watched already, I just have to shoot the review. I'm thinking I might just rewatch the episode, not even make any notes, and if I do, I'll just keep the episode running as I'm making the note and just kind of keep the review as succinct as possible. In a way, I actually think going for more concision ends up creating better content in a way. I think that this episode in general works as a really nice companion piece to episode 3. It kind of seems to be a case so far where every 2 episodes seem to be one big chapter of this series. 1 and 2 worked so well together, and now 3 and 4 have just worked brilliantly. Again, just seeing the progression that Blackthorn is making for his role. Be that as it may, that is pretty much all I want to say about the episode. I want to thank you so much for watching this all the way to the end. Again, I do want to say that once more. It does really mean a lot that people are taking time to watch these reactions and maybe leave a like, maybe leave a comment. Not that I'm asking you to do that. This isn't necessarily like a call to arms for that, but I do just want to express gratitude. At my time of recording, I think I've amassed 34 subscribers, which for the short amount of time and short amount of videos I've produced, literally going from 0 to have come so far so fast, is something I'm very, very grateful for. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Shogun as well. Like me, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the story over the next few weeks, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.